understand what Ricketts is doing, but I kind of feel like it was very pompous and egotistical to think that they could get this whole thing done over the winter in a short amount of time. And then when they realized they couldn't, they thought, "Oh, we'll just go to Rom and he'll let us work overnight." But then they forgot that
There's an
Rom's
election.
not a shoo-in for being even reelected, and what like he's gonna waste all those. But I mean, the people who are for it don't. I would gather that the neighborhood would not be cool with it, and that's a ton of votes. But I'm just bothered by the state. Like I feel like they should have done something else. They should have. Like I don't have a problem asking the Sox to play at U.S. Cellular for X amount of games. Maybe doing a mix of asking them, asking the Brewers for a mix of games, and then you say, okay, you know what, June 1st, Wrigley Field opens up. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Like
And
us
then you have the
fans,
game
we
on
don't have a
national.
problem with that. But money going in the Ricketts pockets. I mean, that's why they didn't do it.
I understand. I understand. I also don't like the Cubs fans who say they don't need to play at U.S. Cellular Field. Why would you ever do that? Like it's not a bad place to see a game. You're not looking at a construction site while you're watching a baseball game. But then again, we've been looking at a construction site for how many years with all the nets catching all the falling rocks, right?
Yeah,
I guess it's no big difference. I mean, I'll be happy when it's all done and good for them and everything like that. But I
I
just
just it,
I don't, I'm not looking
the
forward.
finished.
As much as I'm looking forward to watching Sunday Night Baseball in a couple days, is just as much as I'm not looking forward to it because it's gonna tick me off the whole time
It's gonna be
looking at
bizarre
that
if anything.
it's not done. It's weird. It's weird.
It's
It's
so
not.
Cub.
It is, and it's not like it's really not like much of anything else. Now I know like I think it was when the Brewers built Miller Park. I think they had to finish up some work during the season, but it wasn't a big hole in your
I think it was the
in your.
roof. That was
I think
probably the last thing that
and I
had to
think
happen.
I don't think it was actually like they had to finish. I think like they finish and then they realized, oh shit, we got problems with the roof. We need to fix it. Because I
Yeah.
remember it being like they had the roof closed and it was raining and like water was just pouring into the stadium.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
remember
I
that.
mean that's a thing that happened. That happens with anything. Whenever you fix something, it's never gonna be 100% fix.
And
From the
like,
get go, you have to
okay,
go back and rework stuff.
with Wrigley, like the finished product will be beautiful to the eye. It'll be very pleasant looking. How are they gonna get rid of the urine smell? Like, are they taking care of that too?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, it's supposed to be all new bathrooms and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm really interested to see it, but I will not step into that place until it's done.
I don't
Like,
blame you.
100% done. There, I'm not like seriously. Like, I'm gonna give you money to come in. Like, it's not like they're knocking a price. They're not knocking any money off the price of tickets that you're spending to get in
No,
there.
they aren't.
I
Jeez,
mean, they're
I
the
looked
same
them up.
price, and
Yep.
you're paying for. I mean, I know what you're paying for. I get it. That's the way it is, and that's the sports world we live in. And people like, I mean, I'm not complaining about the price of the ticket. I'm complaining about the fact that they're charging full price for something that's being worked on. Like, doesn't make sense to me. Like, come and check out our new stadium. It's not done yet, but just wait a couple months. Keep on giving us full price. Keep on coming back, but we'll be done eventually. I mean, I don't know. But then the I guess the good part of it is that the baseball side of it is like potentially the most exciting that we've had in years. I don't know. I mean, I can't even remember. I don't remember ever feeling
The
like this
unmentionable season.
about my team. I know everybody's not going to work out. I know that's not going to happen. But
I,
some of these guys, they got it. It's like, man, if they do, like, but then it's so hard to judge because like Brian, like everything's in the minors, everything's in spring training so far. It looks amazing, but I don't know. Hey, think about all the guys through the years that you've heard about come up through anybody's system, and sometimes they don't turn out so good.
But well, that's the exciting thing. Like with the Cubs, it was always the one guy. There's Corey Patterson. Oh, Corey Patterson, been hearing about him for years. He comes up, he did okay. He got
Actual
hurt,
player.
then never panned out after his injury. Same thing with PA. And then, but there was only one. It was just
Yeah,
Patterson. It was
yeah.
just PA. Now
weren't-
it's like, okay, Baez right now looks like he's not working out. That's cool because Addison Russell's right behind him. Like if
Yeah.
something happened to Chris Bryant, you still got what's his name?
Schwarber.
Vogelsong.
Yeah, like behind him.
Oh,
Like there's
yeah.
just so many coming. Like
Yeah.
they're
Not only that, and
they're
not only
gonna
that,
land a couple.
they're all, the thing is too is that they're mostly a lot of them are position players, which nobody else has. I mean, they're
Right.
stocked with position players, and I don't know. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Quite.
What about
On-
on the other side of town, Matt?
Unfortunately, it seems like CBS baseball reporter Bruce Levine, who's been down in Arizona covering both teams, has been chicken little when it comes to the White Sox pitching staff, and I don't get it particularly. I don't understand the doom and gloom scenarios that he's putting out there for the White Sox. Yeah, there's a little bit of twinges and tweaks and those sorts of things that are going on with pitchers' arms, forearms, and stuff right now. But the only one that's actually going on to the DL is, I don't want to say a marginal guy, but somebody that was potentially due for just some improvement because of his previous experience in Jake Petrichka. David Robertson is a solid veteran reliever, and I think he knows his body. And it's Arizona. The curveball doesn't drop, sinkers don't drop, sliders don't break, all those sorts of fun things that happen in the elevation out there. So, I'm kind of like, let's not go crazy here and not go off the deep end. Everyone else has been rather even keeled about it, including Rick Hahn, who, while I know he has to be the kind of the proverbial duck, calm above the water, flurry underneath. Everyone else seems to, same thing with Ventura. He seems to be the same way. But I take confidence in that. I think there's the fact that there aren't a lot of greater injury talks. Like, it's not shoulders. It's not Justin Verlander-esque stuff that's going on. I thought everyone kind of figured Chris Sale. It was disappointing he couldn't be the opening day starter, but
Why
I'd much rather.
No, seriously, why are they holding him back? He just, in his first outing, he threw 90 pitches. Why hold him back if he's going to throw 90 pitches?
And strike out 13. That's the even better part about it. I'm kind of like, see, look, everything's okay. I don't know. I think they want him to go to, I think, 115, 120. So he'll get one more rehab start, I think, down in Charlotte, and then he'll be back up, maybe even two if he does one on Sunday, and then one during the week next week, and then he's back for the home opener or something like that. It's just kind of like, I'd rather have injuries happen in spring training where it doesn't hurt. It genuinely doesn't hurt your club, especially the record, because I don't care what happens in the Cactus League, just as long as they get out healthy or relatively healthy, and I think they have. So there's a lot of question marks. I think the division is kind of coming to them. I would expect the Indians to be as good as they were last year.
I don't know.
Everyone else thinks they will.
I think that's the team to watch out for.
I don't think they have any offense. To me, that's their thing. I don't think they have it, and I don't see Nick Swisher leading them, being the Thunder in that lineup.
I like them winning that division. I can see the Sox coming in second. They probably are the second best team. I think Detroit's garbage now.
I couldn't agree more. I think they really hurt themselves over the past couple of years. Past couple of off seasons, I should say. So
there's old. I mean
they're old, a lot of bad money.
Yeah.
And
then they lost a huge starting pitcher they had. Like, how do you replace Scherzer? You know,
they lost.
You just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, they lost two. As far as you can really look at it, they lost two starting pitchers, even three now with Verlander going on the DL. But they lost Prince Fielder, who was tremendous protection for both Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera in their lineup. And, okay, what do you got? Yeah, you found J.D. Martinez, but is he going to produce like he did next year? I hope he does because he's on my fantasy team. But, there's no sure thing there. And their defense. I don't know if their defense really got any better. So we'll see what happens. But I think the division has come back to the Sox. The Sox made some moves to step up. And it should be a good summer for both sides. It's going to be relevant at least or I shouldn't say relevant, but interesting for the first couple of months here. So let's see. Moving on to the Blackhawks tonight, they just in defeating the Vancouver Canucks 3-1, they have clinched their 7th consecutive playoff appearance. Tonight was a 3-1 victory behind Corey Crawford, so that was good. Ended up being your number one star of the game. I don't really put much stock into the rah-rah Bud Light stars of the game. But good to see him getting his due at least. So I get glares from the studio audience about Corey Crawford.
I love Crawford.
I'm with you, Brandon. Like, man, every time I talk to my dad, God, he talks so much shit about Crawford. It's like, I'm like, but I don't know. I think when you really look at hockey, like the goalie's that position that when you win, nobody really gives a shit about it, and when you lose, that's the first one to blame. Nobody talks about the fact that they're like that. Nobody talks about the fact that all the injuries, any problems they've had, and their defense is porous. And when you have a porous defense, your goalie's gonna. I mean, that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's the same idea in any sport. You don't have a running game in football, but nobody talks about the fact that your line sucks. You don't get any pressure on the quarterback. Nobody talks about the fact that your line sucks. You know what I mean? Like, nobody talks about the fact that somebody else sucks because of what's happening.
I feel like with Crawford, he'll give up. He will give up like a soft goal once every week or two, and like I hate to say this word, his haters, his detractors will be like, well, what about that soft goal against Edmonton? Like, seriously, that was 3 games ago. You're still talking about that? Like,
3 games ago,
how about the next game when he had 47 saves? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think this is the same way with goalies, like across the board. You don't have a problem, like you love him and you don't have a problem with him when he's standing on his head. But damn, if you give up one soft goal, you're horrible. You're horrible. Get him out of town. And it's like, well, that's not really the case. I mean, it's the same thing as like a pitcher. I mean, you have a pitcher who is lights out for 2 weeks straight, and then he gives up 2 home runs in a game, and you're like, oh, that guy's horrible. He sucks. No, he doesn't suck, dude. He's still really good. He just had a bad day like you do. You go to work and you make mistakes. You have a bad day. You do stupid things too. So everybody does. Everyone's does.
Entitled to
nobody's freaking perfect, but everybody thinks that. Well, that's the thing is I think as fans, it's easier to criticize it sitting on your couch than sitting in the goal. Because you're not sitting in the goal, you're never going to be sitting in the goal. So, I mean, yeah, you might have played like hockey to a certain point.
You might fall into a net, but
yeah. But even like people who play, you might play to a certain point. You might play to a certain level with it doesn't mean that you know any more about sports than any other casual or serious fan or casual fan or whatever. You can't